big thank you to you all. Like I said, we have an action-packed lineup for you. As always, as we always do start the mornings, we'll start with a review of newspaper headlines on our Nigerian newspapers. Then we'll take a look at regional stories. Today, tributes continue to pour in for the late Alexander Oko, 10 years after his death, his tragic death. The Enugu State government signs a memorandum of understanding with Lion Business Park for collaboration in infrastructure development and investment facilities, among others. Next, we'll dive into a discussion on how tech skills can empower the workforce in Enugu State. Finally, we'll be revealing how a heartwarming surprise went down yesterday for, well, let's call her one of ours. But before we get into it, the news update with Oji Wachuku. Do stay.
Good morning, and this is the news update. We begin a news update in Abia State. Governor Alex Oti has instructed the State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Goodluck Ubochi, to engage with Abia State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Teachers to address their concerns in response to the planned indefinite strike over unpaid allowances. Moving on to Abuja, the federal government has released 50 billion naira to academic and non-academic staff unions of federal universities to settle earned allowances, fulfilling a promise made by President Bola Tinubu. Still in Abuja, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Debt Management Office, has released details of its April 2025 bond offer, seeking to raise a total of 350 billion naira from the domestic debt market. Elsewhere in the foreign scene, Guatemalan police on Wednesday detained Luis Pacheco, the nation's deputy energy minister and a former indigenous leader accused of terrorism and illicit association. Lastly, in the breezy world of sports, the Nationwide League One has disqualified no fewer than 44 players and suspended Usman Kabir as the body moves to uphold integrity and safety standards ahead of the 2025 season. That's all we have for you on the news update. Stay for more right here on the Afia Morning Show. I am Oji Machuku. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on your.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You
don't sing along.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
I said it because.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
So lunch break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyna Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
breastfeeding doesn't even cause blood clot. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome.
The Afia Morning Show. Thank you for staying locked right here on Afia TV. I'm Nathalie, and Oji obviously is here. Oji, how do you do?
Hi, I'm great. Another Thursday.
Yes.
How are you feeling? How are you, trying to manage the events?
Well, quite well, I guess, and the week is coming to an end.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting one. Monday through to Thursday, it's been one thing after another, but glad to be here.
I don't know why your voice is inside. Can you come out a bit?
My voice is, I don't have to shout. I don't
It's
shout
fine,
like
though.
some people.
Yeah, right.
Should I expose
Another
you?
job again.
Should I expose you?
Another job.
When Oji starts shouting, this whole office will just be
I don't know what you're
vibrating.
talking about. I'm quiet, cool and collected,
That's it.
calm, like this. Yeah.
Of course, we're not here alone. Barrister Chidi Ujatumba is here. Barrister Chidi, how do you do?
Good morning. I'm
Good
fine.
morning.
Why is everybody's voice is inside?
No, my voice is outside.
So we're outside. We should all come out.
My voice is outside.
All right, let's come out. Let's come out and take a look at headlines making the news this morning. We'll begin with The Nation. Oborevori Okowa defect to APC with entire Delta PDP. How Nigeria's reforms are faring by Edun Cardoso. Keyamo intervenes in NIMET workers face-off. Lagos bans expectant mothers from Hajj. Take out terrorists, President orders security chiefs. On Blueprint, 1 week after Enor's endorsement of Tinubu, Oborevori Okowa, others defect to APC, compound PDP woes. We won't remain in a boat already capsizing, this according to manager. Delta governor protected under current laws. This is according to a senior advocate of Nigeria. Plateau killings, Mutfwang FFK at war over Israeli envoy's visit. Match fixing will attract 10-year ban, NFF warns. 2027, El Rufai Malami can't speak for defunct CPC. This is according to a member of the National Assembly. Mina Airport inaugural flight lands in Abuja, federal government Niger Eye Agro Hub. And straight to the punch. 2027 power shift. Opposition weakens as more PDP governors, senators eye APC. Delta Governor Okowa, Oshun, Jigawa PDP chieftains, others defect to APC. PDP Bode George attack Tinubu. Killings. Tinubu demands fresh security blueprint from intelligence chiefs. INEC moves to legalize voting without PVC. Federal government grants tax waivers to Dangote, Mikano, 103 others. U.S. indicts Nigerian for $690,000 scam, false citizenship claim. Lagos local government chair aspirant withdraws for Obasa's son. And moving on straight to the Daily Trust. 2027, allow younger people to run, Baba Ahmed tells Tinubu. Delta Governor Atiku's running mate, others join APC. Insecurity, enough is enough, President tells security chiefs. Patients stranded as workers strike cripples FCT primary healthcare centers. Aviation crisis, Air Peace, foreign airlines suspend flights. And here on The Guardian, hurdles for opposition parties as APC wins more governors, others. Lagos has shortfall of 66,000 doctors, nurses, says government. Scandals, president won't allow Akpabio to step aside, say senators. Reps say 1,723 vessels engage in sharp practices on Nigerian waters. ECOWAS to relocate institutions from Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. WHO to downsize operations amid major funding cuts. We've been unfairly blamed for insecurity in Imo. IPOB laments. And lastly here, insecurity, Tinubu security chiefs in talks. 36 governors discuss crisis in Abuja.
Nigerian Tribune. Why we joined APC, Delta Governor Okowa orders. Explain how Ibadan PDP governors meeting aided exit. Senator Kawu dumps an MPP for APC in Kanu. Edo LP Senator Emashun set to defect to APC. Sixth-term Oshun federal lawmaker, quits PDP. NLC tackles power minister on claims of adequate electricity supply to 150 million Nigerians. Pencom recovers 1.58 billion naira from defaulting employers as pension assets hit 23 trillion naira. COAS orders troops to clear Kwara, Niger of bandits in 1 month. Another 2 killed, over 20 farms destroyed by bandits in Plateau. 2027, why we will back Tinubu, CPC block. Flight operations disrupted as NIMET workers down tools. Air Peace suspends flights. Earned allowances. FG releases 50 billion naira to ASU. Other unions. And lastly, right here on the Nigerian Tribune. Ahead of burial, thousands queue to catch glimpse of Pope Francis' body. Moving over to Daily Times. Tinubu meets with NSA intelligence chiefs over worsening security concerns. Pencom recovers 1.58 billion naira from defaulting employers. Obi joins global dignitaries to witness popes lying in state in the Vatican. And lastly, right here on Daily Times, FG releases 50 billion to varsity unions. Moving over to Daily Sun. PDP bleeds as Delta Governor Rep join APC. Atiku Wike should leave PDP immediately. Attributed to Bode George. Killings. Tinubu issues fresh marching orders to security chief, says enough is enough. IMF to FG. Don't sideline poor Nigerians in energy subsidy reforms as Tinubu unveils energy transition plan. Airlines suspend flights as NIMED workers embark on indefinite strike. And moving over to Nigerian News Direct. Tinubu orders overhaul of national security strategy, says enough is enough. Reads riot act to security heads over killings in Benue, Plateau, Borno. FG delivers on promise, releases 50 billion naira to varsity unions. Passengers stranded nationwide as NIMED strike grounds air peace flights. Land grabbing allegation, Ogun Monarch arraigned for fraud after suspension. Mass exodus looms in PDP as Atiku's running mate Okowa, Governor Obowoveri, orders defect to APC. And lastly, on the Nigerian News Direct, Osun Governor unveils leadership center to honor legacy of late brother Senator Isiaka.
All right, I think it's clear where we're going to begin, and that's, of course, news concerning the aviation crisis currently rocking Nigeria. Now, Air Peace and some other foreign airlines have suspended their flights as a result of the indefinite strike action embarked on by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency over, well, of course, in Nigeria, financial issues, unpaid wages, allowances, a lot of those things. Now we're seeing pockets of protests coming about the country, and we're seeing airlines suspending flights. We're seeing the Enugu airports currently undergoing rehabilitation, the runway. So a lot is happening in the aviation sector. And a viral video that surfaced yesterday showed the Airpeace CEO saying if NIMET is on strike, suspend all flights, ground all flights, because it's a risk. NIMET is charged with giving proper and credible weather forecasts, as well as climate change or climate forecasts as well. And when you don't have that information, your flight could be airborne and a storm could take over, which could lead to a plane crash, eventually poor visibility and more harrowing tragedies. What do you make of the crisis in the aviation sector now?
It's unheard of that this particular department normally can go on strike.
You forgot about them, didn't you? You forgot about NIMET.
It's like the military. They are there. You see them every day.
Did you forget about the role of NIMET?
It's not as though that we forgot the role of NIMET, but it is a special department that you don't hear about them, going on strike on a regular basis. So this is a new development, and I pray that the federal government should look at it and take care of the problem immediately. They shouldn't wait for independent airline operators to start, calling off their flights. They should know that it's a national emergency. It's not something that you can even try to manage. They're coming to think of it. I think there was an international airport open in Mina, Kano. Yes. How were they able to land that flights, which they used to open that airport, which means some are gambling, you understand? They think it's possible for you to walk without this department. The weather is something that flight needs to work with.
That's right.
No matter how special the flight is, even if it is Boeing 777, you will definitely need the forecast of the weather for you to be able to pilot, for you to be able to navigate, and for you to be able to land. So what we're talking about here is not even the airplane. We're talking about the safety of everyone who is on board. So I think it's something that calls for immediate attention. Like you rightly pointed out, all airlines should be grounded. If you allow some private jets or some, activity to be going on while these people are on strike, you are calling them bluff, one. You are making it look like there's a way we can still, get this thing done, even while they're on strike. And then it takes the attention. I think the government should face them, bring them on the discussion table and see how they can sort issues out for them, or even make them a promise to go back while the issue is being discussed. But this is transportation is very, very important. Yeah. So once everyone is grounded, definitely it will affect a lot of business.
Just a quick follow-up now. Should NIMET be protesting just about salaries and wages, or should they also be protesting about the equipment that they have? Do you think that Nigeria has sophisticated weather monitoring equipment currently in use. Do you think that our weather forecasts are so predictable that we can ignore all of that and protest about money alone?
If they don't have enough equipment, what I read this morning is about wages. They didn't complain. I didn't see.
Should they be complaining about equipment?
They should. They should. The military normally used to come out and tell, we have dilapidated equipment, okay? The police can come out and tell, we don't have what it takes to protect Enugu State. Sometimes you can see governors going out of their own security pocket, providing gadgets, equipment for the police. So the same goes to NIMET. They should come out openly to say, this is what Russia is using, this is what Dubai is using. Please, how many local flight and international flight do operate in Nigeria in a day and in a week? We need more drones.
Because what we have currently is you don't have the specific cities. You know, you just have Enugu, possibility of rain today. So what if it's, you know, you don't know where, it's not specific, it's not particular. The forecasts we get right now are more central. They're more generic. So I'm wondering if NIMET is still operating from its archives.
Yes.
I'm wondering, Oji, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I wouldn't know, I'm not in that department, but if that's the case, apparently they could have, you know, echoed, yeah, we need sophisticated, you know, upgraded equipment to match up with the world class and all that. The budget is right, yeah.
Every federal parastatal, okay, has budget. Before the budget is even taken to the House for validation and all the rest of them, every department is being asked to submit because there's always changes, buying equipment, getting upgrades, and all the rest of them. So I believe that this is a science department. It's a department that has to do with scientific discovery, scientific update. That's right. It's a department that has to do, we shouldn't be talking about AI, you understand? They should be upgrading or updating whatever they are using to work with. If you give a wrong forecast, you have put a whole lot of lives in danger. And if you don't have the sophisticated equipment to be up to date, okay, to even give forecasts for other sub-Saharan African countries, you understand? So we should be looking out for them and making sure that we are the giant, not just in size, okay, but in strength, in intelligence, and in power. So they should come up. I'm not going to make the case for them. You're not even going to make any case for them.
But you're a lawyer, you can make a case. Make a case for them.
I'm an advocate, but I speak for those who are downtrodden, those who bring their matter to me. I don't go about...
You don't think NIMET is downtrodden right now?
Their wages, let them be paid, and let them be well paid, okay? Let them even be overpaid. But if they need sophisticated equipment, I am not a specialist in that field. They should be in a better position to say, Mr. President or the Minister of Aviation,
yes.
You know him now.
I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to look at the window of opportunity. It's a great opportunity for NIMET to actually articulate those things that they need.
Right now,
because for
it's on the burner.
I'm yet to see specific forecast for each city. Not the one you talk about Enugu, likelihood of rain. You know, it's not Enugu.
But
yes, Enugu is vast.
Sometimes I used to see
Afia is
them.
vast.
Yes,
sometimes I used to see them break down.
Like other people
break down the cities, intercities, intercities.
We'll have to check. You show me where you saw it.
I'll look up on that.
You can print it.
Let's get to Nigerian News Direct, right? So, Tinubu orders overhaul of national security strategies, says enough is enough. Reads right ad to security heads over killings in Benue, Plateau, and Borno. My question is enough
Thank you.
for all the adversity and can avert all the adversity that's been happening in the northeast, northwest, north central? Is saying enough is enough.
Saying enough is enough. It's not enough, and it will never be enough, okay? When I read that story this morning, I now started regurgitating the kind of political statement our leaders normally used to come up with, okay? Let it be backed up with action. Let it be backed up with action and intelligence, and also an update. That's what I want. You can't just tell me that the terrorists take over 64 local communities in Plateau, and we're not counting down on that. Media people should come in and work together with these military people and count down on the number of cities that we are recovering until we get... Look, let me tell you one thing, not even a foot, okay, of this territorial integrity should be under the what? Should be under the control of terrorists. I don't care whether they are Lakurawa or whatever, or Boko Haram, or I don't care. Not even a foot of this Nigeria should be under the control of any terrorist. That is what will make Mr. President the commander-in-chief, not the traveling around and ruling us from diaspora. He should move in on this place and liberate these cities, liberate these communities, bring back the farmers. There's a whole lot going on that when they normally used to strike is during rainy season, when people are going to the farm. Am I making sense to you now? Why is it that for the past 3 weeks now, for the past 1 month, we've recorded not less than 250 killings, spreading across seven states, okay? Both in the north east and in the north central. What do you make of this? This is the time for agriculture. This is the time for, they are displacing farmers all over this region. So it will also add to the cost of food at the end of the day. And we all will start crying that Mr. President and the government is not doing enough. This is time to do enough. All hands must be on deck. Let them ensure that no food, not even a square meter of this country is being occupied by terrorists. It's not just saying enough is enough. When I hear such thing, it doesn't move me any longer. I'm looking down on those communities. I want to hear testimonies of locals. I want to see the presence of the military. Let it be a joint force. The other day, IG said that he is setting out, what do you call it, a special anti-bandit squad or whatever he called it, and the military is making such similar statement. Let there be a joint force of all the law enforcement, including military and paramilitary. Once they join together, they will now use intelligence and drones and pick these guys wherever they are and push them back. I like what the chief of army staff said. He said that he wants to push them totally out of the boundaries of Nigeria. That's the kind of statement I like. But I want it to be backed up with what? Intelligence and action. And precision. Yeah. Precision is very, very important.
He made mention of like that whenever it's raining season, that's when they attack. So apparently, would you say that this is a very strategic attack? And there might be a reason for it, right? Apparently, to get the country hungry.
Yes.
For what?
Multiple reasons.
For what?
Terror. You know what? Anyone that uses terror, you should be afraid of anyone that uses terror. You should not speak English language to them. You don't discuss with terrorists. Anyone that brings terror to any community, you face them with a triple, you double the terror they are bringing to you, and you give it back to them. If you start pleading, if you start negotiating, if you start trying to see how you can negotiate with them, do you know what they will do? They will bring more terror.
Remember that there's a problem in this nation. Remember when they moved in to attack Boko Haram head-on in the days of Goodluck Jonathan? Yes. You remember what El Rufai and even some sultans were saying, that they're killing their brothers?
They're killing their brothers. Yes, that's the truth.
Are we not going to experience the same thing right now if they move in and have a counter-attack on these people? Are they going to complain again that they're killing their brothers?
Let them complain. I overheard the man, I've forgotten his name, talking seriously about how the borders were open during the time of President Muhammad Buhari, how he even allegedly, you understand, made call for Fulanis all over the country, all over sub-Saharan Africa to, come into Nigeria, that Fulanis are the one ruling, our borders were porous, and all those people came into this country. And as they were coming in, they are coming in with all kinds of sophisticated ammunition. When I talk about the issue of security, I tell you, this federal government, they are not serious. Like you rightly pointed out, enough is not enough. They are not serious. If you take a measure to control banditry or terrorism, okay, that measure should be sustainable. It shouldn't be a flash in the pan. It shouldn't be something that you make like a political, it shouldn't be a promise. It should be a consistent, measurable measure that everybody can see that you are consistently hitting these guys hard, and you are giving us information of where they are going to, those you are arresting, those you are prosecuting, and what you are doing to ensure that the borders of this nation is well protected. Right. Security is not something that we can treat with.
All right. Yesterday we saw a report that the Finnish government had approved the extradition of Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. Now, after that story, lots of counter stories came up. We saw his lawyer saying that he's not aware of any information about Simon Ekpa being extradited to Nigeria, that he still has a case come June this year. to attend to in the finished court. What's your reaction? Because we really went deep into the charges against him, and then only to turn around and go back and see that all of it was just not right. So the charges are basically terrorism and incitement of violence, right? But now we're hearing his lawyer sing a different tone, basically countering all your vibration yesterday.
No, what is this? I didn't get information about. I wasn't opportune to get the
rebuttal,
the report on what the lawyer said. If you can bring me up to that. Yeah.
All right. So the lawyer is saying, I do not have any information that Simon Ekpa will be extradited to Nigeria. The case is still pending. Now, he goes ahead to say that he is currently still checking through some files relating to Simon Ekpa. And just continuing there. Yeah, I think that's basically it. He's just saying that Simon Ekpa still has a trial come June 2025. So any news about him being sent to Nigeria is neither here nor there, except you want to put B before. So I'm wondering, Daily Times is a credible media outlet, and that information broke. So I don't understand why something like that will come out.
It's not only Daily Times that carried the information. I think 3 or 4 newspapers carried the information yesterday. And this is something that is credible, or rather we assume to be a credible information, based on the fact that it has to do with the federal government. Okay, so I took it the way I saw it, because I know that since his arrest, the federal government has been making efforts for him to be extradited. There's no way you can actually conduct a successful prosecution of Ekpa in Finland. You can't do it, okay? You can't do it. All the witnesses and everything that he's been accused of, they happen here. What he's been accused of is him inciting violence in Nigeria from Finland.
But from a legal perspective, are we seeing the lawyer? If it's the lawyer that is...
Is he the lawyer in Finland or the lawyer in Nigeria?
The lawyer in Finland.
I think the federal government should have more information.
Do you see him, the lawyer, defending his client in this case? Do you see the lawyer trying to protect or stop such information from going out? Because this is not coming from an independent party. This is his lawyer debunking reports that Simon Ekpa's extradition to Nigeria has been approved. Do you see it as a defense?
Did he say he has not been, or did he say that the information that doesn't happen to him?
He said he's not aware.
Now let me tell you one thing about awareness, okay? Awareness has to do with someone's circle of influence and information. So if you don't have what it takes to get to know assess certain information, so you still be under the umbrella of unawareness. So it's not as though should the Finland court serve him a copy. He's not one of the parties, you understand? And besides, he's Ekpa's lawyer here in Nigeria, not his lawyer in Finland. So I think he should, he should work with the Department of Justice in Nigeria to find out actually whether the court over there have ruled, or he should place a call to Ekpa's lawyer in Finland and get himself up to date. I don't think the federal government can just go on a wild goose chase to give Nigerians this information if there's nothing credible about it. And when you talk about also the credibility of the newspaper media house and other media houses that relay the information yesterday, so let's wait and watch and see how it goes.
Okay. Let's still move to Daily Sun. This one says PDP bleeds as Delta Governor Rep join APC. Atiku Wike should leave PDP immediately, says Bode George. Coming to this, but let's also bring it down to Enugu State. We heard of a rumor, as alleged, that very soon our Ebu governor is going to defect to APC.
Rumor?
Yes. Rumor and as alleged, let me put it that way. Then forget about the utterances from Ugwa Balas and what's his name again? Our Minister of Science and Technology, right? Uche Naji, right? Forget about the utterances. Now, we're seeing an exodus of mass defection from PDP to APC. Remember, they just had the governors' summit or meeting the other day, which could have maybe aligned some conversations on the way forward to propel PDP regards to 2027 elections coming, right? But some of them were like, even the meeting was even what led them leaving the party, and the party is broken and can't be fixed and whatnot. So these are the conversations going back and forth. What do you make of this defection from PDP to APC, and what is it going to tell us in 2027? What's your prediction if you come to the political landscape and whatnot? What's your prediction in 2027, are we literally channeling our political sphere into a one-party state in Nigeria? So just find a way and just unpack all this conundrum.
There are so many things involved here. One, yes, PDP is in trouble. I agree. But you know, have you asked yourself this question? Why is it that all other political parties are having internal rivalry? Or rather, they have an internal problem. LP is having internal problem. NMPC is having internal problem.
And the peaceful one is APC.
And the PDP is having an internal
And SDP probably might be having problem because
they can't just come together. They can't really come. And you know, one of the things that can make someone to say I am decamping or I am leaving a particular party. Go and read the INEC. Listen, is because there is a kind of an internal kind of problem in an existing political party. So anyone who is leaving party because of this kind of problem, and the one in PDP have lasted, one could sit back and ask himself this question. Come on, back in the days, PDP might have a little problem, and before you know it, over a period of 1 month or 2 months, they will sit and it will be resolved immediately. But this one has lingered on and on and on. Like you rightly pointed out, are we all drifting to a one-party system? It's not good for our democracy. And the opposition should learn how to think outside the box. When I read that story this morning, I was really, really trying to do the analysis for myself. If you follow the trend of this decamping, you will be demoralized. Because look at Okowa. Okowa has a case with EFCC.
Yeah.
You know what is going on in Delta State, you understand? They are corrupt people. They have problems. Let me tell you, this kind of decamping is as a result of the fact that he knows that probably if he moves into APC, all his sins will be forgotten. So you don't measure your political strength on the platform of decamping. You measure your political strength on the incompetency of the government and plead to the masses, because I can even be an APC state. During presidency, I can vote what? I can vote PDP or vote the coalition. So the opposition should not be kind of carried away by this kind of political, like you rightly pointed out. What did you call it again? There was this slogan. You say, so it's an exodus. Exodus. It's not. You focus on the people. Focus on what is wrong with this politics of today. Okay, and focus on what they will release against Mr. President on the 2nd of
yes, you know, just throwing weight around Oji's question now. This is unique. This is happening because we can't vouch for Enugu.
Yes,
right now, okay?
As I said,
that's
it's a rumor as alleged.
Exactly, until we receive an official.
Because the reason why I think it was propelled was when Ugabala, we saw the clip of him shouting, because so, some people be like, he's been shouting since 2000, right? Every time you see Ugabala, he's shouting, right? So he's just screaming on top of his voices. He's talking about that they don't need Governor Peter Mbah moving to APCs, they don't need him in the party and all that. We can hear so many utterances too from Uche Naji. All of them are just saying things about the governor. Even we are seeing the work he's doing in Enugu, but you still hear him say
so until we receive an official statement from the party or the governor himself, we cannot join that.
As rumored and as Ugabala was echoing that.
You know, you've established that no one is fighting you. Okay?
I'm just trying to set the record straight.
It would be a very great disappointment.
Look, what you have said is very valid. It's a rumor. It's out there. But until we receive an official statement, we have to just, hold on with that, because that is major. You know, you're talking about a sitting governor, and we don't just say things like that without proper confirmation. So, we'll wait and see what happens as 2027 draws, let's say nay or nine, draws nearer. Okay, now this situation is no, not yet, is really unique to Delta State, because we're seeing the sitting governor of Delta, former governor, the speaker, basically the entire Delta State government joining the All Progressives Congress. That is what has made the news this morning.
Yes.
What do you make of this? And they're saying that they don't want to be part of a sinking boat. They want development in the state. You know, you mentioned the EFCC and they're trying to probably enjoy incumbency, or they want to go and sit with the party, the party in power, to be able to vindicate themselves. Is there more to it?
There's more to it.
Why would why would the Delta State government
is orchestrated? This is a plan out something. It is not based on Okowa's or the current governor's political ideology. There's a case against the former governor of Delta State. There's a case against him. And a very big one for that matter. And unfortunately, Natalie, could you believe that this guy was the running mate for the PDP presidential aspirant Atiku in the last presidential election. Can you believe that? So it's a very big slap on the face of what? On the face of PDP. Yes. Why it's planned and why it's orchestrated and why it's strange and why you have to suspect it is because in other instances you can see either him, the past governor, or the current governor single-handedly moving into another political and other members remaining where they are. But because corruption is involved, because they want to cover up something, that's why they sat down and made sure that everyone is included in this bandwagon. They gave you a very cogent reason, okay? But we know that at the long run, his sins will be forgiven. PDP has been in a very big problem. But the problem is, Okowa is also a member, a good member, if I can use that word, a renowned member of PDP. So why is your boat sinking and you are running away? Why don't you sit back and see how you can fix PDP? Why would you, who will fix that party that you are running to? If it starts sinking, what will you do? You move over to another party. So what we are seeing here is a normal Nigerian political culture, atmosphere. That's exactly what we are seeing. Those who think that they will have problem will use the opportunity to swing towards the ruling party so that their sins will be forgiven and so that they will still remain politically relevant.
Do people join political parties?
Do
people join political parties to help fix or build the party, or do they join it for their personal interest? Because you see lots of people decamping when the grass isn't so green any longer.
Yeah.
So let's face reality.
They are joining political party for their self-interest.
That's right.
They're not joining political party because they want to protect your own political interests. They're not joining political party because they want to fix Nigeria. They're not joining political party because they want to create employment. None of their political manifesto, none of their promises is their motivation. Their motivation is to get rich. Their motivation is to get their relatives rich. Their motivation is to pack enough money.
The angle I'm even coming from Barrister Chidi is they join a political party to win.
Yes,
because all of these things you're talking about are spillovers or spill-offs from actually winning. So do they join a political party to win the election, or are they joining it to help fix something that is already broken?
Now let me tell you, you just drew a vicious circle for me right now, because you cannot fix anything that is wrong except if you have power. And if you can't get power except if you join a political party. And it's only when you join a political party that you can win. So it's like a vicious circle. So you have to be there, to be there, to be there, to be there. So ask me that question again, I will still tell you that it's like you seeing a moving train, okay? It's already moving. The train is moving to see how it can get, if the right people, if patriots and those who love Nigeria join this moving train, Nigeria will keep on getting better. But if the wrong people join, okay, they will only enrich themselves, they will leave, and Nigeria will keep on getting worse.
All right.
Can you compare Nigeria of today to Nigeria of 2014? There's a whole world of difference. There's a world of economically, in all ramifications, there's a whole world of difference.
Okay.
So we always are about the talk of back and forth with this and that and all that. But I want to ask a question which tells us down to integrity and how posterity is going to judge all of us, even the political bigwigs, right? So now, defections, yes. Political personal interest is only when it's beneficial, and where it's beneficial, that's where they are headed. As stated, APC, if you move into the party, your sins are forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
What is a takeaway from all these issues we're having right now leading to 2027? And what kind of election do you foresee that is going to happen in 2027? Because the way it's going right now is like it's a do or die affair. And when it comes to that, you know how disastrous it is going to be. First, we have to talk about INEC and whatever happens there, because apparently is what they decide. It's no more the people's mandates, it's INEC's mandates, you know, that gives you who governs you.
Court's mandates.
Court's mandate too. You know, it's first of all, it starts with INEC and they tell you to go to court.
Ready for the court.
Yeah, and tell you to go to court. And when I tell you to go to court, you know what that means?
It's over.
There's nothing visible and viable and truth that will come out of it.
Except if you can call it like
can you unpack?
Bring down fire.
Can you
very briefly, please unpack as fast as possible.
Can you unpack this journey?
We're running out of time.
In a minute, let me tell you something here. 2027 will not see anything different from the kind of election, the kind of politics, and the kind of campaign we've always witnessed. You remember what happened in 2023. You will see probably a double of it in 2027. APC is hardest hit, okay? Politically and economically, they have not been making the best policies. So they are looking at a situation where they can, you know, come down to west, southeast, south, and see how they can poke holes on all the areas where the coalitions are feeling or thinking that they have stronghold, okay? While we are looking at the north, where they will lose votes. At the end of the day, political incumbency will play it
big role. Yeah.
It will definitely play it role. That's why I'm urging the opposition, forget about who is moving for one political party or the first issue, first economy, first bad policy. At the end of the day, states who are PDP might even vote APC. States who are APC might even vote PDP. But just be rest assured that this current administration is not doing anything to give you a free and a fair and a transparent election. They are still going to rig it again. Yeah, we are watching them.
We are doomed then.
We are watching them.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I will continue to watch and see. All eyes on 2027.
Yes.
And we'll see if Oji's rumor holds any.
Oji's rumor.
It's not my rumor. I'm not praying for. I was in disarray when
this state has been a PDP state since 2000.
I like how I planted
since 1999.
Since 1999. Yeah. He has been a PDP state since 1999. Wind of change will come.
Is it my kind of journalism, right?
Enugu state will still.
Is it my kind of journalism? I love to sample people's opinion on the public, right? So I love to unpack what it is that's the issue.
Kind of journalism?
No, I'm just everybody have their own focus, right? I love to unpack what the public is about. The public is about the people, right? I like to unpack what they think.
How many boxes have you unpacked this morning?
We've been unpacking them, right? So I was in disarray when I was in disarray when I even it shouldn't even be
just sharing it for the first time.
It shouldn't even be a thought,
right? So
it's
not even a talking
it's
point.
somehow being propelled right there in the street, right? So I'm just trying to clear this, right? It shouldn't even be a thought, right?
Doing well.
I don't see any reasons why. But then again, politics plays a very big role.
Yes.
And you understand what's happening in Rivers State.
Look in front of you. Look at that timer.
If they make a promise in 2027.
Look at that timer. Okay. I'm receiving so much information that I should cut this guy off.
Okay.
But he goes on. And because I'm so let me say understanding. I'm just allowing him. But we understand.
That thought shouldn't even emanate, please.
Okay.
Who are you begging now?
No, I'm throwing it out there to. I'm throwing out. No, see, we don't want any attachments to
APC at all, please.
I didn't say that though. It's 5-star.
I did.
Yes.
I've been suffering. I'm from Imo State. I've been suffering.
So the rumor should die.
Me coming to Enugu is like abroad.
Being alleged.
You understand?
She even.
I don't want to go to Imo State APC. I'm okay here.
Please close up on Oji. Please wrap up this segment. Please, can we close up on Oji so that he can help us wrap up this segment?
Thank you, Mr. Oja Atova.
Close up, please. I'm not talking about toothpaste. Or help us.
Thank you very much. So stay tuned. We go around the region. We'll come back.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Back to the Afia Morning Show. Thank you for staying tuned. And now we begin around the region in Enugu, where family, friends, and well-wishers gathered to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the passing of Alexander Uku, who died in 2015. Tributes poured out at Alexander's East Side Hospital premises, 26 Ezilo Street, Independence Layout, Enugu, where the family held a memorial in his memory. Afia TV Head of News and Current Affairs, Alex Obodo, captures the highlights of the event in this report.
It is Easter time. We have received an invitation to come to unite with one of us, Alex, who is with you now in heaven. We gather because we believe that there is a union between the living and the dead, a union found in our cultures, found in the Bible, and found in the teaching of the church. We gather to thank you for the life of Alex, a young man who at the age of 19 had finished his time on earth, and you called him back out of your goodwill to continue a life in a more and better place. We thank you for the few years he spent on earth. His memories are indelible. His smile is eternal. His peace of heart is new, a peace the world needs.
The most important thing is about memories, how you carefully curate memories, how you look after the memories. And what we're doing here today is an example of looking after a memory, of cherishing the memory. But it also is a sign to all of us that we should go out of our ways and build our own memories so that because we're all going to go, no one is here forever.
When I released the balloons, that was it, allowing the sorrow. This is it. You can go up into the sky and he'll probably catch one of the balloons and he will know that we all love him and everything we do is in memory of him. There's nothing we do, like when I write, I remember his handwriting. When I smile, I look in the mirror sometimes, I say, that was his smile. When I look at my kids, I see their faces, somehow genetics. So I am sure, because if you turn around now, have you seen that smile on his face like, yeah, mama, keep talking. Yeah. So the way I feel now is, getting this thing ready kept me busy. But I'm sure by this night, I will finally break down. He was my life. He was. And it's the death of a child that you'll understand the parable when all the sheep got lost. And when all the sheep were there, but one got lost. And the shepherd kept going to look for that one sheep. So that's how I feel. I can't find the sheep.
Alex, it's been 10 years. But it still feels like the first 10 seconds after Daddy broke the news to Mommy and I, as he wrapped us tight in an embrace, and Mommy kept saying, Daddy, what is it? You know I don't like surprises. The pain in his eyes, I noticed first, before the well of tears that filled ours as soon as he began to speak. To say those words which I just wrote down and crossed because I cannot bear to hear them again, even in my thoughts. I miss you, Pichum. I used to call Alex Pichum growing up. Maybe I couldn't pronounce his name, and he used to call me Lalali because he couldn't pronounce Natalie.
All right. May his soul continue to rest in peace. This is not a story anybody would want to wake up to this morning. But we'll take a quick break now, get the news, and then we'll return.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing.
For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibe and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
Thank you for staying tuned. Now move on to more stories right here from Enugu State. As in a significant development, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the Enugu State government and Lion Business Park. Afia TV Government House correspondent Chidima Mado has more on this story. Take a look.
The MOU outlines the framework for future collaboration in areas such as infrastructure development, investment facilitation, employment generation, and other business support services. Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Ndubisimba said the growth projections of the state is the economy and eradicating poverty, which will come mostly from the private sector. He noted that this administration will not just provide enabling environment, but also enhance infrastructure for the Lion Business Park to be functional. He commended various communities for their support, which shows that the ease of doing business in Enugu is not overlooked.
It's an already made hub for commerce, for trade, for investment, and for business. With all the infrastructure there, you just need to come with your portfolio and start your business, start manufacturing, start trading. It is strategically located, less than 3 hours from One, a major seaport, less than about 2 hours to Asaba, and about less than 25 minutes to an international airport here. You couldn't ask for a business park at a better location. We pride ourselves in Enugu as a state that is business friendly, and we must sing as such. And so we're also using this opportunity to invite our sons and daughters who have not yet registered to hurry up and register before the space is taken up. The Lion Business Park is open for business, and we're inviting you to set up there because it's an already made industrial park. It took creative thinking for us to be able to come to a point where we're all working together as a team to achieve our common objective. On our part, we're going to continue to provide that support and to ensure that you succeed and you have huge returns on your investment.
Recognizing the role of Lion Business Park in the state, Southeast, and the nation, the chairman Lion Business Park, Dr. John Bono, says the project has the potentials to harness and develop hidden resources in the state. He mentioned that they will leverage on all incentives that will attract foreign direct investments and create jobs.
The Lion Business Park is actually an international agreed trade agreement with all parts of the world, where it's taken to be not to be part of the Nigerian customs area. In other words, if you put out any, call it a container or anything that you want to ship out, and the destination is Lion Business Park Enugu, then it is going to come straight into Lion Business Park Enugu with the seal on, and it will only be on seal inside the park. The free trade zone operates in such a way that you are given an incentive to bring in your manufacturing facilities and assets into a place where you are not going to be encumbered by the bureaucracy of taxation, custom duty, inspection, and all that. This is going to translate into massive industrial development for the Southeast. And recall that also within the Southeast, and I say that because I'm from the Southeast, we have a DNA for manufacturing and trading. And so with this, what this government has done in one swoop is to catalyze that growth.
Other key stakeholders present at the signing ceremony were the former Senate President and former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief Pius Anyim Pius, directors of the Business Park, Enugu State Attorney General, amongst others. Both parties have expressed their commitment in ensuring that the MOU is turned into actionable projects that will bring positive impact to the state. In Enugu, Chidinma Mado for Afia TV.
Thank you for that story, Chidinma. The governor's message is quite clear. What he wants in the state is boost trade, investments, tourism, the economy, and all of that. And he continues to rehash that to make sure that anyone who is in doubt on his guest does not enter.
We echo it all the time. Every damn time he's been interviewed, he tells you specifically the message is clear.
Quite clear.
And actually, and he's following that trajectory, right? Like head on. We could see from his conversations, you could see from people coming right here to, you know, all he's been signing are everything pertaining business to build Enugu State from $4.4 billion dollar economy to a $30 billion. You know,
we'll watch and see. The message is quite clear. The foundational message has remained the same. We'll continue to watch and see. Many residents now are concerned about sustainability. If another government comes into power, that's trying to cause an upheaval. But it's also great for us to note at this point that it appears, while Afia TV is still on the streets trying to get more information, but the old bus stops constructed under the administration of Right Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi are currently being demolished in the state. Our man on the street is currently exploring the situation, and he would return with insights. Now, you would recall during an interview on Enugu Kwenu, one I had with the Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Obiozo, I asked, why isn't the state government using the old bus stops? And his response was, those bus stops, they're like, you know, they're self-contained. So, they're like self-contained. So, they're not feasible. They don't have the higher platform where they should be placed. So, they're basically not functional. Or now they're being demolished. They were not functional as bus stops. You drive down Bisala Road now, you see those brick bus stops being demolished. You see them literally breaking everything down, making way for the new bus stops, which are currently being constructed.
I'm of the opinion, right? If you want your state to look international and appealing enough, it has to have all those infrastructure that makes it look international.
But let's look at what is happening now, the bus stop. So the question I have is the contractor who was charged with those bus stops that are now reduced to rubbles. What was he thinking? Did he not realize that there should have been a certain plan for a bus stop?
People have innovations and visions, right? The Peter Mbah's administration, their vision and innovation is different from Buruburu's. Right, so you can actually tell.
Will you blame the governor, the former governor?
I don't know
the contractor?
I don't know the proposal.
Yes.
It was as of then, right, that made them to construct the box.
That's a real box, isn't it?
Yeah. So
the house.
I don't know what I don't know what the conversation was, the proposal, right?
Well,
but you could actually feel the difference between innovations and of this administration and the past administration.
I think it's about having I'll blame the former government. Yes. I'll blame the former governor, because you are supposed to be supervising your commissioners. Where was the commissioner for transport?
Natalie,
let me finish. Let me make my point. Where was the commissioner for transport when the contractor was constructing those self-cons? Where was the commissioner for transport under the previous administration when the bus stops didn't have any loading bay? Like there was no land to actually for the buses to stop to load and offload passengers. What were they thinking? Where was the Commissioner for Transport when there was no plan for the bus stops? Which bus goes to which bus stop? Why construct something like that? On what planet, in what state do you see a bus stop that is made of bricks? That is not in the archives.
It's self-contained. It is self-contained.
I don't want to get angry this morning, but those annoying bus stops are currently being reduced to rubbles, and that could mean a challenge for people who have been living there. But hopefully there's also a plan to mop everyone up.
Well, I think those challenged people that do live there, I saw one, he laid on top of the Astro at the junction, the Nearville Junction, right? I think another thing is it's time for these people to be eradicated off the street and taken to their home where they could.
Like a shelter, right?
Yeah, because I wouldn't say it's an eyesore because they're humans, by the way, but paying keen attention to them is very important. You know, take them to where they'll get the care and also trying to rehabilitate.
I think that's something that I think the ministry in charge should look into. You know, poverty alleviation, or just look into how you can create more homeless shelters within the states.
It could actually be a business.
If you chase these people out of the bus stops they've been living in, they're going to, at night, what do you want them to do? They will turn to criminality.
They can actually, come from the advantage of, producing a business around it, right?
Yes.
Government can build shelters. People can pay like 500 or 1,000 to sleep every night. Yes,
that's right.
It's viable.
So
it's doable.
That's something I think the commissioner in charge of that should be plotting and scheming to do right now. What are the plans for the people who are now displaced from the bus stops or other places? See, let me tell you something. Anybody can be homeless.
Yes.
You might be living right now. What's that thing you always say? Upper echelon. Okay? You are living in the upper echelon. One day, something will just happen. It might not be CBEX. It could be something else.
It could be
and you find yourself.
Outbreak. It could be anything.
It could be anything. You find yourself homeless. Anything could happen. You could be robbed. So everyone is entitled to having food, shelter, clothing.
Yes.
And if there's a shelter that actually provides all of that, it would be great to, rid the streets of these people, because they're not staying there because they're happy. They're staying there because they have nowhere else to go. And that's the truth. So I think the government should, tell the ministry in charge to go and start looking into how this can be constructed. Now, back to the bus stops, one more very annoying thing was the fact that you have one right opposite, let me say, Roban, and then you just drive to the right and you just see another one there. So why do you have two bus stops so close to each other? That's why I asked, what was the plan?
Maybe
where was the oversight? There was no oversight.
Different lanes now, the right lane and the left lane, or whatever angle you are standing.
This one is here, like where you are seated, and then the next bus stop is where that camera is.
On the same lane.
The next, just by the where you veer off to turn right, you have another bus stop. Look, if that contractor wasn't sanctioned, because the contractor now passed me, the government did not give me a plan. That's when the blame game and the trade of words starts. But let me tell you, it's the governor that is supposed to be held responsible, because if those things are not good, they should have been demolished a long time ago.
He was seeing them. He wouldn't tell me.
It should have been demolished a long time ago.
He never moved out across all those bus stops.
And found them a bit funny.
Maybe it was entertaining and to him too.
Because with those bus stops, the bus will have things that they've gone down to rubbles now. So watch and see what's going to replace them.
It's been replaced already, by the way.
If anything, yeah.
Some of them.
All right, let's leave it at that. Stop throwing jabs left, right, and center. But yes, do better. When you're in a position of power, do better.
Yes.
It's important. Moving on now to Nsukka. The Nsukka Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in collaboration with the Nsukka Professionals Association, Lagos, has organized a business forum. Afia TV's business correspondent, Choma Okpala, now reports that the event took place at the Princess Alexandria Auditorium at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, tagged Rethinking Nsukka's Economic Development Strategies. Here comes her report.
Economic growth is essential as it leads to increased production of goods and services, which in turn raises living standards, reduces poverty, and also enables the government to provide public services. This specifically is a reason for rethinking Nsukka's economic development strategies for the betterment of the people of Nsukka. Professor Osita Obu, the chairman of the event, gave the opening remark as he emphasized the need for the University of Nigeria Nsukka to be well established for graduates of the school to be able to practice their respective professions.
So as we gather today, unfortunately, anytime we have an academic event, an event that requires us to think and to vision and to plan for the future, you will get a call more than half empty. But if this was a political rally, I think there will be no space. So it is part of what we need. It is a general malaise in the entire country. Take your mind around the world, including Nigeria. If one Onyobo, a successful businessman who has a PhD, we claim zillions of professors. But last time they have that 10 million, we can't even contribute 1 million out of the 10. So our mindset must be such that in a way IQ, but in a way emotional intelligence. One that drives us to go into businesses and do things and be achievers.
He highlighted the reason for the events.
The only industry in Nsukka seems to be the university. And in my view, the university has done a lot, but there are gaps. The university has not attracted industries, has not had a university of this nature, which is a land-grant university, was set up not just to train students, but in fact to train students even in vocation. So they are supposed to be learning and practicing.
Mr. Sam Otobueze, a lawyer and president of the Nsukka Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in a welcome address, made this request to the governor of Enugu State.
If you ask me what should be taken to the governor as our request today, and which I know is contained in the address, one, I will ask the Excellency, please, kindly, for the good of the economic growth of this state, designate the Nsukka Cultural Zone as a priority economic development zone. Secondly, we ask passionately for the establishment of Nsukka Chamber and Enugu State Government Joint Investment Facilitation Desk. Finally, but not all, but the key, to kindly give us a permanent site with an office complex for the chamber.
He emphasized the challenges faced in the course of planning the events.
Challenge of pettiness, because when you expect that people, those who need to know, they rather start putting stumbling blocks on your way. Is the biggest challenge you have.
The Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development, Enugu State, Dr. Nathaniel Orama, representing Governor Peter Mbah, spoke on what the administration has been able to achieve.
His Excellency Dr. Peter Mbah took office as the Governor of Enugu State maybe 2 years ago. And even before taking that position, he had his political manifesto, which was anchored on 3 major things. Number one is that he came to move the economy of Enugu State from $4.4 billion where he met it to $30 billion in the year 2031. That is the number one and the key mission of His Excellency in this state. The second one is that we want to imbibe the culture of transparency, traceability, and accountability in the leadership of Enugu State. Then, the third one is that he wants to reduce the poverty head count in Enugu State to 0 by the year 2021. And I'll conclude by telling the Nsukka Chamber of Commerce that, yes, I got the message that you said that you sent across, and I'm assuring you that the message will get to His Excellency undiluted.
The keynote speaker, Professor Franklin Nungu, emphasized value creation and partnering with the governor for the 30 billion naira project.
So I'm going to shock you that the governor said that he wants to achieve 30 billion GDP economy, and people are questioning it. I am saying that Nsukka zone can surpass 30 billion GDP economy. If a university can contribute $40 billion, I believe that the zone can do a lot better. The only thing
Participants at the event also shared their thoughts.
So the major thing we are doing today is how to organize Nsukka people. We are not here for politics. We are here to arrange our youth, arrange the women, and let us be carrying everybody to the same direction, so that we can make use of what God given to us and prepare for our future, prepare our children for their growth.
It's a wonderful thing. What the Nsukka Chamber of Commerce is doing, or is trying to do, is that they want to align quickly with what the governor is doing, with the vision of the governor. Because the vision of the governor is to take Enugu State from where it is economically to a very high level, economically, from $4.4 billion to $30 billion.
As the people of Nsukka, Enugu State, re-strategize their economic development, there can hopefully be only room for productivity. Reporting from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Choma Okbala for Afia TV News.
All right. Thank you so much, Choma, for that report. It was great having that story from Nsukka. And of course, we hope for more developmental strides generally in the southeast region of Nigeria. Now, before we have our discussions today, I would like us to take this video showing the moment that Afia TV staff surprised. Actually, let me bring it home. Afia TV is a family. The family of Afia TV celebrated one of its own, and of course, that is Amy Adindu, who marked her birthday yesterday. Let's take a look at how that went.
Happy birthday to you. We knew you were wrong. Happy birthday to you. I got that to see that God has come today. Happy tiny, tiny,
Happy big birthday to you. Yes, you're now a woman. Oh, wow.
Everybody's birthday now.
I'm going on AM tomorrow.
Yeah, that's happening.
So that's something that happened to say.
Okay.
All right.
Speak to the camera. Speak to the camera. Say something. Pretend to be emotional.
They caught me. I'm used to catching people unawares, but there has been a cut today. And thank you guys so much. My reputation as a hard guest is melting away.
I thought if I bring it out.
Thank you.
So you see, that young, beautiful lady there is our digital content manager. She's in charge of everything socials right here at Afia TV. We call her Tiny, and Tiny is Tiny, not with the Y, but with the N-double-N-I-E. She is someone that is so outward thinking, so full of energy, wields so much. How would I even describe her? She's very small, but you see her strengths. If you try nonsense, you get nonsense from her. That's the kind of person we're talking about. This lady has managed to change the face of Afia TV content digitally. She has been there for everybody. This is the same lady that carried the cake to Nami on his birthday, carried the cake to me. So let's say 99 days for Tiny. I would not say the thief. 1 day for Afia TV. So we got her good, didn't we? Oji, what do you think?
It was great, yeah. Celebration and celebrating people who impact an organization and an environment that is very important.
So you won't celebrate the lazy ones?
Who celebrates a lazy person?
But it's a birthday now. Everybody should be.
Well, it all depends, though, from what vantage point you are looking at it or seeing things, you know. But once it's a good way, once you're forthcoming, once you are, you know, diligent and doing what you have to do, and people are going to regard you and give that utmost importance, you know, tag to you, and it's not, you're going to fall short of this kind of celebration. Everybody wants to celebrate you because you know your own news, you know your own, you know what you're doing, right? So, and it's a great deal. Tiny, yeah, by her name, you can tell her body size, but she's a big engine. I always say that because she has so many prospects, innovations inside of her, right? So, and I respect that for her, though she's annoying. I respect that for her, right? So that's basically, happy birthday once more, Tiny, and happy birthday to you. Yours before Tiny's, and
it's somebody's birthday today too.
Right? I can't remember, but I think though. But that's the thing.
It's annoying that you can't remember.
That's the thing, right?
It's
that's
annoying. That you can't remember.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. As I stated, once you have goodwill and you're diligent with your work, and also you're accommodating people around you, they always celebrate you. Be nice. Be good. Be good. Be nice to people.
This man just loves English. You see English, eh? If Oji leaves
leave me alone.
broadcasting, he'll go into English. Accommodating. So Tiny, do you hear that you are accommodating?
That is very. I think it's something we have to put into consideration. Knowing fully what the kind of environment we are in at this point in time in Nigeria, right? So we have to accommodate ourselves because you have it right. You don't know what other person is feeling. Yes. So you being accommodating is making life fair for people. You know,
you've started again with this. You're being overbearing. You've started again with this.
I don't know why it's overbearing. What am I doing?
It's overbearing.
Oh, sorry.
It's overbearing.
I'm sorry. But
oh God, I didn't say accommodating was wrong. I just said that I was admiring the word, and you now took to unpacking it. I don't know. How many suitcases did you come with today? Let's face reality. How many suitcases did you come? Because you've been unpacking since 8 o'clock.
Well, that's why we're here, to unpack the stories for you. Thank you.
Please close up on Oji. Let him wrap up this segment, please. Director,
go for a quick
director in
breather.
charge. Please close up on this
We'll
man.
go for a quick breather, and when we'll come back, we'll go into our conversations for the morning. Stay tuned and go nowhere.
History is calling. The world is coming to Enugu State. The very first Enugu City International Marathon is finally here. That's right. On the 3rd of May 2025, athletes from across the globe will take the very first steps of greatness on the streets of Enugu, supervised by World Athletics and powered by the strength and spirit of the coal city. Are you ready to run? Are you ready to make history? Register now. Visit www.enugucitymarathon.com or pick up your forms at the marathon offices at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Akbara Square, or at the State Secretariat. Enugu, this is your moment. The road to greatness begins now. This marathon is brought to you by the Enugu State Government and supported by Pinnacle Oil, Afia TV and Radio, RC Cola, Aqua V, and other proud partners, and is brought to you by Nilayo Sports Management Limited.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
I said it because... Time check is 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
I said it because... Time check is 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
and we do apologize for that long break. We were having some issues which we're trying to resolve, but now we are back, and of course we're not alone. Oji and I have someone that has just joined us to tell us more about this book that has been the talk of the town, an upcoming event that we have been talking about right here at Afia TV. Even yesterday, we had 2 guests join us to tell us why we should all be a part of the upcoming event. We're joined now in the studio by Professor Osita Obu, who is a professor of economics, University of Nigeria, co-chair Nigeria Economic Summit Group, National Economic Advisory Council. He is also the author, the esteemed author of Development as Attitude. Thank you, Prof, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, yeah.
Thank you.
It's today, finally, at the iconic Enugu International Conference Center. How are you feeling that your book is going to be the central point of today's event?
Well, it's even interesting that we're using the book to launch the center, the International Conference Center. And it makes a lot of sense. First, thank you guys for this opportunity. You know, the NESG is a private sector think tank, and this book is already 1 year old. But they found the book extremely useful in promoting national dialogue. So they actually got a grant to take this book to 4 cities and perhaps 2 countries in Africa. So we're going to do Enugu, Port Harcourt, Lagos, and Kaduna.
That's fantastic.
And we're starting with Enugu because we've already done the book launch last year. And the whole idea is that the book has ignited a certain conversation around development. As I was telling someone yesterday, it looks like the more we do research, the more we speak, the more we seem like we're not moving. Things that I wrote about 30 years ago, when I read those papers, I say, but they're relevant today. How come things have not really moved? So the essence of the book is, and today's event, 4:30 p.m., is to engage the academia, the public sector, and the general public to begin a conversation once again on issues of development in Nigeria.
How could you align the retrospect? As you talked about a couple of things you've written yesteryears, when you go back to them, and then again, development as attitude is such a bold idea. So what inspired you to also frame, the Nigerians' fear and growth around challenge regarding to attitude? So these 2 questions.
And this question keeps coming up because I was telling someone who was interviewing me yesterday, I said, I'm a novelist. My novel is The Moon Also Sets. When I live here, you guys should Google that and try and get a copy. So that also informed how I came about with even the title. But the attitude of the leader, the philosophy of leaders, the ideology of leaders, the organizing framework with which they come into office is extremely important as to how they lead. Remember, a leader does not simply make development happen. He uses people to make development happen. He has to convince the citizens to even undergo the sufferings that are associated with development. So if he doesn't have that guiding philosophy, if it is just anyhow, if it is I came to office, I don't even know where I want to take the nation, then we run into crisis. So in all aspects, whether you are a military leader, whether you're a civilian leader, whether you be made a GOC, whether you are a vice chancellor, people must have a sense of their own philosophy that pushes them in a certain direction. And this attitude is defined as values, knowledge, ideology that guide individuals as they pursue development. So leaders, and you see in the book that we tried to compare what's happening in Israel, Malaysia, Singapore, United States, what their leaders, early leaders, said and did. By the way, what you say is very important. even as important as what you also do, because people are looking at the leader to show them the way.
All right, so let's talk about how you were able to gather this information. Clearly, there's a lot of comparison in your book. How were you able to gather that information? And tell us what was going through your mind as you were writing Development as Attitude.
For you to write, you have to read. And this is one of the messages I think Afia TV should help us promote. I am a promoter of reading. We have dropped that culture. As you can see, we don't even have public libraries again. We used to. So anybody who writes must be a reader. So I have traveled widely, but I have also read widely. So in reading, I began to understand the philosophy of some leaders, the statements they make, and they didn't stop with statements, the actions they took. So that I began to ask myself, in our own case, perhaps our early leaders, because there's an example of Nigeria in the book. Lateef Jakonde, late Lateef Jakonde, was an example, and people have asked me why did I choose him. What he did in Lagos as governor of Lagos State has not been equaled by anyone else. Over 30,000 housing units for the poor. So when I was asked to do the first lecture on Lateef Jakonde, I did a lot of research. And then found out that Lateef Jakonde did not emerge on his own. He was schooled by Awolowo, who had free education in the Southwest. And Awolowo, that free education was not easy. When he made that pronouncement that he was going to give free education, he did not do all the calculations well. Or rather, he did not anticipate the response. So when people came out to go to school, the infrastructure was overwhelmed. But this is why this ideology, philosophy is important. Awolowo did not back down. Instead, he said, no. I have made this promise. We're going to carry it through. So instead of building houses, schools with cement, I will even build with mud. I will recall people who have retired. Why am I giving you this background? This is the school, not school I mean by school of thought, that Jakonde grew from, that made him who he now became as governor. So leadership recruitment is extremely important.
Tell us about your own background and what has motivated you to write a book like this that takes people back to what is up here, the mind. Your background, growing up, your experiences in school, if you can try to unpack it quickly or briefly.
That's a long one. I'm still going to do my biography. But remember, I'm closer to 70 now than 60. I'm about 68 years old. So you can understand that I grew up seeing the Civil War, overcoming the Civil War, went to university quite early. At the age of 21, I had already finished university. In those days, that was very rare. Then I traveled worked a bit, traveled to the US to do both master's and PhD. And was lucky, worked for the World Bank in Washington, D.C., then moved to the Canadian International Development Research Center. So I spent a good 20-something years outside this country. Actually, I came back in 2005 because Obasanjo made me his chief economic advisor, who was also the de facto minister of planning. So that's how I came back in 2005 to join government, from where I also now retreated back to the university to teach. And people always ask me, how can you, from that high office, go down? In fact, people still ask me, do you teach? And I say, yes, I still teach. Because in Nigeria, people don't expect that you can hold a high office.
Where do you teach?
In also Nigeria.
That's great.
Yeah, I teach economics. A few days ago, I was in the classroom. There's a lot of joy in teaching. And so I have been to over 45 countries in the world. So I have a sense of what is happening around the world.
What was the unique experience, the one thing? Because one thing can change a man.
Yes.
What was that interaction, that specific event that sparked the need to write this book? What happened?
No, it's not an event.
There was nothing, or it was a collection of
series of events.
This is my life.
What was the most outstanding?
I am frustrated.
What frustrated you?
That we're not moving.
Okay, I want to...
That we are... You remember what I said when I started?
Yes.
That what I wrote 30 years ago...
Still relevant.
Is still relevant. And I'm saying, so those of us that have been speaking, talking, writing, what have we achieved?
When did it dawn on you, that realization? When did it dawn on you?
It dawned on me and it's a good point, in 2013 or so, I was to give my inaugural lecture as a professor. And the title of that inaugural lecture was, Why Are We So Poor? Or Why Are They So Poor? Which was actually a title given to me by my first son when he was very young and I took him to the village. Yes. And I took him around. I said, we were walking around the village. So when we were retreating to the house, he asked me that question.
Why are they so poor?
Why are they so poor? Because that's not the environment he's familiar with. I said, my son, if I knew the answer to this question, I would have won a Nobel Prize. So it dawned on me that all the research, training, and everything I've done was to answer that question. So I said, this will be my inaugural. Because inaugural is supposed to bring together all the body of work you've done over the years. So in trying to do that inaugural, I also began now to realize that what is important for development is not just leadership, but the philosophy that the leaders bring.
Does the Nigerian Hamilton project development of RTC connected to Alexander Hamilton?
Correct.
Okay. I guess I understand your thoughts processes right now. You take it back and bring it to the future, right? So I guess your economic background, working in the World Bank, is connected to the first Secretary of Treasury during what's the name of the president then?
I've forgotten.
Okay, of America. So what's the link between the 18th century, right, American statesman Alexander Hamilton, and our Nigerian economy now that's made you, trying to connect the yesteryears and bringing it to the future? Can you build that connection can you unpack that connection for us?
By the way, the Hamilton project is not even my creation. That is the NESG. This event is not Ositobu's event, even though I'm the author of the book.
Yeah.
Remember, the people who were calling you guys to arrange this are the organizers. So they linked. Hamilton was a thinker. He provoked thoughts.
It was Washington's presidency.
Thank you.
He was the Secretary
at
of
that
Treasury.
time, and that's why thinking is very difficult. Part of the reason why I think NESG is excited about this book is that if you notice, the things we write these days are biographies, stories, and so we don't engage in serious scholarship. And it's also because there's no reward. A professor is still paid less than $400 a month. That is at the highest level of professorship.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that people don't have interest in some of these things. But I think to link it to Hamilton and to go back and come forward, we are talking about 18th century.
Yes.
I gave a lecture on political economy at the University of Nigeria a few days ago. And I was telling them that in France, in 1335, as far back, that kings, because they were always so broke because of their lifestyle, were auctioning offices. I hope you're listening. Auctioning public offices. You pay to get an office. What I mean is not office as a space, but the position. And you can actually buy position that you can also leave for your child.
Yeah.
Does that not sound familiar? That we are in 1335 France? That we are still, people are paying for offices, even in Nigeria. So 18th century is recent. I'm not sure we are even there yet. Some of the attitude of our leaders. Take the issue of accountability. Why is it that you don't have leaders that say, this will not happen under my watch? If you make me the head of this agency, I'm going to stop XYZ. If I become the president of this country, XYZ will stop. If 100 million people are poor in this country, it is my duty to reduce it to 20 million. I mean, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Taking responsibility.
Responsibility and saying, I will do all that is necessary to make sure that while I am in power, this doesn't happen.
Oji raised a very important concern some time ago, and we're already wrapping up. So I would like if you can answer this in a few seconds.
Yes.
We were watching a video here at Afia TV, and it was a regular political aspirants campaign. Yeah. I will do this. I will make sure there is water running across every mile. I will make sure that the lights never goes off. And Oji said, so these things still work on Nigerians. What's your appreciation of manifestos as we see them today? Do you think there was still some of these aspirants are still operating with a very backward mindset? Does it still work?
No. The thing is manifesto without philosophy. It's manifesto without ideology. It's manifesto that is not thought through. It's manifesto that has not taken into consideration the constraints around which the person is going to operate. And there's very little sincerity.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Osita, for joining the show today. I like that you've highlighted a very critical part of this book, and that is the main thing that drove you to write this, that triggered it, that sparked it, was your son's comments when you took him home. And he said, Daddy, why are they so poor? You see this book?
Even for him,
it's going to change a lot of things because it has a root. It's not just a research collection of research works. It actually has a root. And I'm sure the power of the pen is evident in it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
So you have the date, you have the time. Enugu International Conference Center, the Dome, at 4:30 p.m. today. Be there and learn more about why. Answering that question, Professor Osita answers, why are they so poor? Please try to be there. Is attendance free?
Yes.
Anybody can walk in?
Absolutely.
I know some of you want to go and see ICC.
Yes.
No problem. Use that avenue.
Is there a maximum capacity?
No, well, I think they say it can take 300 people.
Is it the Dome is like 3,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the bigger one.
That's the bigger
one.
The
bigger one is about 5,000.
Yeah, I think it's...
I don't know, 3 to 5.
Well, we'll see. Let's call it thousands.
Yeah.
Or you can use the idea to go and see the ICC and learn too.
Correct.
All right. So thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you.
And watch and see how that goes. Afia TV is partnering, and of course, you bring your insights in subsequent bulletins on Afia TV. I've been your host as always, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain Oji Nwachuku. Have a splendid day. Bye for now.